Oi, you. It's time for another episode of Dorothy and the Dealer. Let's tune into the conversation.
It's the power of love. But I loved Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Frankie Goes to Hollywood were absolutely amazing. 1984, see? Fuck you. I am the music fucking Google.
Be right than loved over there, I can tell.
Go. But I loved like Frankie Goes to Hollywood were just an incredible band. And where are they? They just disappeared. But some of the stuff they put out was, Relax was an amazing song,
Hanging out with you.
Two Tribes Go to War. Like, what an amazing song. But that was banned when it came out. Two Tribes was banned because it was so violent. Relax was banned because it was so sexual. And like in Ireland, you couldn't watch them. They weren't allowed to play it on Irish television. And then obviously after a year, it came on,
Yeah.
Thriller, the song Thriller was banned.
Thriller.
It's not Thriller.
Thriller. That's what happens when I hang out with you of an evening and we're having a couple of drinks with a few people around. Yeah. It's like
give Mitch the DJ box. Let's go.
YouTube, let's go. What new 80s song is he going to put on now?
The Old power 80s. Of love.
Anyway, let's carry on. What are we talking about?
From above, stealing your soul.
We spend probably more of our time on
this podcast. Let's go. Okay, so we wanted to talk. There's a bit of a movement happening at the moment out there about,
It's okay not to be okay.
It's okay not to be okay.
I can tell we are going to butt heads on this one. I'm telling you.
It's okay not to be okay.
Because you are so. Sometimes you can be so. What? Okay.
What?
You're not going to like it. But you can be so...
Fucking what?
Inconsiderate.
I'm not inconsiderate. I just give a shit than to put up with some of this fucking tripe that's out there. It's bullshit. Sometimes it's just bullshit. I'm sorry. It's, I get that, people have down days and stuff like that. But, if I believe that if we play into that, it just becomes a way of life for people. I'm
not talking about playing into it.
Meh.
I'm not talking about playing into it. That is bullshit. Here's what I'm saying. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay for us to have our moments when we're sad, when we're anxious. It's okay to have our moments when we're scared, when we're worried. It's okay to have our moments when we're tired. And so many people in this industry, in my opinion, because we talk about, following your dream, living your vision, doing what you need to do.
Yeah, all those things. Hold on, all those things, following your dream, living your vision, all those things that are notoriously fucking difficult, right?
Yeah, they can
notoriously fucking difficult. So I don't want. I'm not selling people on the fact that, hey, if you follow your heart and live your dreams, it's fucking easy. It ain't.
I think that people hear sometimes what we talk about and think that there's no room to be human, and I think that's bullshit.
No,
we have to be human. We have to experience those. No, I'm going to speak. We have to be human. We have to be able to experience those things. Yeah. To me, it's unfair to say that we have to be okay all of the time.
No, I'm saying the only way to get okay with not being okay is if you're...
Well, it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah, it's okay with not being okay, dude.
Right.
If you're... Anybody can be nothing. Anybody can be nothing. It takes a lot to be something. But everybody has inside of them what is required to be something. And I think that if it's okay to not be okay, it's your objective is to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And the only way to do that is then when that stuff is going on, that you have an exit plan. Otherwise it becomes a behavior, which becomes a temperament, which becomes a fucking way of life for people.
I understand that, but this is a totally different concept than being comfortable with being uncomfortable. That, to me, is a separate concept altogether than it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be okay. What we're saying is when you're feeling at having the normal range of human emotions and you're feeling those things, just like you'd pick up Ollie if he was sad and you'd spend a minute nurturing Ollie because he's sad.
If we're giving it a minute, I'm,
But here's the problem,
I
right?
can probably adhere to a minute.
Okay, I get that. I understand that you don't want to facilitate people staying in that spot. That's not what I'm saying.
But I think
not
that's
what I'm
partly
saying.
what's going on. I think part of this movement can actually end up causing more problems than anything else.
Yeah, I can understand why you would say that, but I feel like if we don't give people the space to allow them to feel that they can have these feelings, then there is no room for movement.
Look, and I'm not saying. Look, how do you not feel those things? I'm not
Mitch,
saying that.
No. Because people do. You have your moments of doing that. We all have our moments of ignoring how we're feeling. We're feeling sad or anxious or upset. And the more we try to avoid having those feelings, the more those feelings will articulate and be present in our reality until we can acknowledge that those feelings are not going to overtake us. So we have to have systems and strategies in place to be able to handle and recognize that it's okay to feel those things. And it's okay.
Listen, I totally agree.
So what I'm saying then is that just like you would with a kid, you'd give them the space. So many of us as adults were not given that opportunity as children.
Yes.
So as an adult, we weren't given that opportunity as children. So what we're dealing with now in our adulthood is the lack of opportunity we were given as children to be able to express ourselves. So sometimes the expression of the sadness or the anxiety or the fear or the whatever takes a little bit longer to process than it would if we had been given that opportunity as a child. So if we'd been given the opportunity as a child to be sad and to feel our sadness, 110% guaranteed that as an adult, if we experience those emotions, we would be able to experience that emotion, have it dealt with, and then move past that emotion fairly quickly and fairly seamlessly. But because we haven't been doing, I know for myself, I wasn't really given that opportunity. So I didn't know how to articulate that. And especially with what I do now, I feel like sometimes there's no room for me just to feel sad or just to feel upset about anything. And so now what I've learnt over time, that if I'm feeling that I allow myself the opportunity to feel it, and don't put a time limit on how much I have to feel it. Having said that, I learned this from Dax Shepard actually on his podcast. He was talking to Brene Brown. That's a brilliant podcast if you haven't listened to it. Dax Shepard and Brene Brown. And he said one of the techniques he uses is to remind himself that the feeling he has is only temporary. And my argument about our feelings and that it's okay not to be okay is that we are bred and we're expected in society to not be okay, and we numb that down with coffee, we numb it down with alcohol, we numb it down with drugs, we numb it down with food. And my experience of myself and life has been that because I've not been okay to not be okay, that I choose to numb instead of choose to experience. So if I'm okay to not be okay, and if I allow myself that space, the more I allow myself the space, the less prone I am to want to numb those feelings, because those feelings are allowed. Now, yeah, so that's what I have to say about that.
Right. I mean, I think that... Let me just sneeze.
Bless you.
Anyway, look, I think my whole thing is, you know, it's easy for us to encourage pessimism in life and for people to be pessimistic and for people to, you know, to just take a piece of what they're hearing and then use that as the reason. You know, everybody's getting okay with not being okay. Everybody's getting okay with, you know, with feeling. But you have to be... You know, you have to use your inner wisdom. When we become optimistic in our lives, about our lives, you know, anything can be created from that space. But to become optimistic about our lives is And anything can be created from what lies in that moment and what lies in our hearts. As long as we're looking at the event that we perceive as causing the situation, and we're putting it into proportion and making sure that we're being correct about what is happening, and I believe the true nature of being okay with not being okay is going, hey, this moment actually gives me this. This moment actually shows me this about myself. This moment actually enables me and empowers me.
I agree
and
with that.
using those, because this other thing that goes around a lot at the moment is this word fucking triggers. Like, oh, this triggers me, and oh, that triggers me. And I think, for fuck's sake, understand what a trigger is actually all about.
Well, I get that.
Because people, unless people are fully informed, people need to be fully informed about what the true nature of what a trigger is, what the true nature of what it is to be okay, to be okay with not being okay is that, yes, you have certain feelings and emotions that come up, but you must look at what is causing that, and you got to take ownership of that, and you got to go, okay, I don't want this to become a temperament or a way of life, because you do as well. We meet the kids that come through, that spend their fucking lives being that way,
and I'm not talking
because they get so much out of it.
I get that too. I understand that too.
I get so much out of being sad. I get attention. I get a label. People love me. People listen to me. So it pays me to be fucking sad.
Okay, I understand that 100%, and I agree with that. I'm not talking about it where it overtakes you for the rest of your life. I'm talking about where you're having moments of it, and sometimes days of it, but moments of it, and they're temporary. And like I said with this Dax Shepard thing, how he reminds himself that the feeling is only temporary. When you can remember, and over time, when you know that it's temporary and you know what it is you're here to do, you can get out of those moments. But if your objective is to never experience those moments, you're delusional. And if your objective is if you don't understand that those moments are part of human nature, you're also delusional. We all experience them, but I do agree with you that our vision and our intention with people is not to have people living in that space, because we do find people and we do come across people who are addicted to that because they get so much out of being a certain way, and you can't even speak to them about that. You can't really even communicate that to them because they think that their outside circumstances are creating that, but realistically, is their internal world is really relying on that and circling through that over and over again. So I'm not taking away from having methods to be able to assist you. Like, I'm all for having I know what my values are. So because I know what my values are, I'm able to live my life in accordance with my values. I know that if I haven't taken time out for myself, if I haven't spent time doing what nurtures me and what I love, that there's more chance that I'm going to get into a place where I'm feeling uninspired or where I'm feeling anxious about life or what have you. So I know to put those things into place, right? But there are times where, and like I had an experience a couple of years ago where I got some news about my health, right? About my, basically that I'm not going to be able to carry children, right? So that
you can have mine, mate.
I can have yours. I already have them. I've already claimed them. Somebody else popped them out of them, but I can claim them. But my point is that when I got that news, it could have been easy for me to listen to all the work that I'd done and to take it on board and just do all of the stuff instead of allowing myself to feel. And in that space of time, I really just gave myself permission for the first time to feel it. And because I felt it, I felt the up and down of emotion for approximately a week. I counted it because it was in a January a few years back. And it was up and down for a week. And the up and down that I felt in that week, one minute I was laughing, the next minute I was crying, the next minute I was not sure what I was doing. It was like this real roller coaster of emotions. But for the first time really properly ever, I gave myself permission to feel. Now, because I gave myself permission to feel,
Right.
it took about a week to just allow myself the space to have that. Because I allowed myself the space to have that, as much as people can talk to me and I might still recognize the emotion of that time, I have never, ever gone back into that space because I wasn't trying to get myself out of that space. I gave myself permission to allow myself the time it needed just to be able to feel it. Now, I still did some work and I still allowed myself the space to do other things, but I wasn't trying to fix an emotion, if that makes sense. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about people allowing a feeling to linger and then going, oh, because this has happened to me, well, then I have the right to be sad for the rest of my life, because that's not what we're about, and that's not what life is about, in my opinion. Life is inviting us to be better, or more than that, more than just the opportunity, more than just the shit, in quotation marks, that has occurred, because none of it is shit. More than just the stuff that's occurred. Life is inviting us to be better than that, to use those experiences as stepping stones to a greater experience of life. 100%.
Yep.
But sometimes I think that I'm okay to not be okay is suggesting that it's okay in those moments to feel the feelings. And if you can do that, I think that you then can have when you're not trying to get rid of them and you're not trying to numb them down, you understand what it is to, I don't know, be all of yourself, I think.
Yeah.
I know that I don't want to imply that I'm okay with us just lying in bed and thinking that every single thing that happened to us that has been shit is that we don't deserve to have a life as a result of that. We want to inspire people to be better than that. But I think that my feeling is that unless you can allow yourself to feel along the way, you're going to create more of that. You're going to create more of it.
Well, I mean, we have to understand that any emotion that's caused within our lives is caused because, you're emotional because you're emotional.
Definitely.
You're emotional because you're emotional. You're sad because you're sad. You're angry because you're angry.
Yeah.
And, and that's that sort of stuff happening, that only happens because there is another part of you that knows better than to be sad.
Yes.
There's another part of you that knows better than to be angry. That's the only reason why people get emotional.
Yeah.
So the shortcut to get to that place is, looking at putting. I had a situation a couple of weeks ago, and Ange pulled me aside and said, "Buddy, put some fucking perspective on it." And I'm like, "Fuck, you're so right. You're so right. Put some perspective on what's going on here." And she was right. You've got to, when something is going on, put some perspective on it and then ask yourself, how is this enabling you? Realize,
Definitely.
Reach the higher point. The only reason you're getting emotional is because you can't see the higher point, because that other part of you hasn't seen what is going on is actually a part, it's not on the way, it is the fucking way. So it is how you get there.
I think then that's good, because I think now that helps clear up. The only difference with what I'm saying is that when you do that, I would rather you do that because you love yourself enough to do that, rather than to try and not feel what you're feeling.
Yeah.
Right? So the okay to not be okay is, okay, yes, I'm feeling this, but I also love myself enough. I'm aware enough to understand that there's more to me than just this.
So to be okay with not being okay, the real meaning of it is I'm okay to be this way because I know that just outside of this moment, there's something greater for me to learn.
Yeah, I'm okay.
So I'm okay with not being okay because I know that. And when you're okay with not being okay, you know that the things that are happening are the way. That's a good sign that you're on track.
God, absolutely.
It's a fucking good sign you're on track.
Yeah.
It's not a good sign to fucking throw your head in the bucket and cover yourself with a doona. No way. It's you go, okay, there's something for me to see here. So I'm actually inspired. I'm inviting this into my life because I'm inspired. I know that on the other side of this, there's some magic.
Yeah, no, I'm totally cool with that. Oh my God, we agreed in the end.
Yeah, that's because I
That's
was
pretty
right.
good. No, it's
it?
because I was right.
No, I was right. I
We'd
said it
both
first.
rather be
no,
right
I
than
said
loved.
it,
Is that
I
right?
said it first.